Most car mods promise the world but deliver little more than noise and wasted cash. The real thrill comes from upgrades that actually change the way your car drives, even if a few of them cross into the gray zone of legality. Ready to see 9 modifications that truly work? Let's get started. Number 9. Dyno-tuned ECU. Under the hood of every modern vehicle sits the ECU, or electronic control unit. Think of it as the command center that manages how your engine breathes, burns fuel, and fires spark plugs. Manufacturers design these systems with a cautious balance. They want a car that runs clean enough to meet emissions rules, efficient enough to satisfy most buyers, and reliable enough to keep warranty claims low. That's good for the average commute, but it leaves a lot of untapped potential on the table. A custom dyno tune changes the game. Instead of relying on a one-size-fits-all aftermarket chip, a dyno session lets a technician tailor the ECU settings specifically for your car and the way you drive it. On the rolling dyno, they can fine-tune fuel delivery, ignition timing, and throttle response until your engine feels sharper and more alive. It is the difference between wearing a suit off the rack and having one tailored just for you. The gains can be significant, especially in how smooth and responsive the car feels under load. Yes, there is usually a small sacrifice in fuel economy, but for enthusiasts who care about performance and control, the payoff is well worth it. But raw power is only the beginning. Let's turn to sound. Number 8. Performance exhausts. For many enthusiasts, swapping out the factory exhaust is one of the first upgrades on the list. A performance exhaust does more than change the sound. It reshapes the way your engine breathes. By reducing back pressure and giving exhaust gases a quicker exit path, the engine works with less resistance. That efficiency often translates into stronger acceleration, a sharper throttle response, and in some cases a modest bump in horsepower. Even an extra 8 to 10 horsepower can make a car feel more alive when you step on the pedal. But for most owners, the real attraction is the sound. A well-designed aftermarket system produces a deep, throaty tone that makes the car feel muscular and commanding. Installation is straightforward, though it may involve some welding to get a snug fit. Excessive noise can get tiresome on long trips, and local noise ordinances are something to keep in mind. The good news is there are quieter performance systems available that deliver the same efficiency gains without drawing quite as much attention. And once the streets can hear you, they should see you too. Number 7. Tinted lights. Darkened headlights and taillights are one of those upgrades that instantly change the personality of a car. A light smoke or darker tint can give a vehicle a stealthy, aggressive appearance that stands out on the road, especially on sports cars or luxury models. Beyond looks, tinted lenses can actually protect your lights. Many films block harmful UV rays that cause plastic housings to fade or crack over time, and some add a thin shield against small stones and debris, reducing chips and scratches. There are a few ways to apply the effect. Tint films are the most common and easiest to remove if you change your mind. Spray tint delivers a smooth, painted look, but is more permanent and harder to correct if applied poorly. Snap-on covers are another option and are simple to install or remove. Whichever route you choose, preparation is key. Clean the lenses thoroughly, cut the film to size, and use heat to smooth out bubbles or wrinkles. The downside comes with visibility. Darker tints can dim the beam of your headlights and make your car less noticeable in poor weather. Laws also vary, with some areas issuing tickets for overly dark lenses. A light tint often strikes the right balance, giving your car the stylish edge without sacrificing safety or legality. Of course, style only goes so far. Some drivers crave louder rebellion. Number 6. Straight pipe exhausts. Few modifications spark as much debate as a straight pipe exhaust. By removing the stock system and running a direct pipe from the engine back, you strip away the restrictions that factory setups use to balance noise and emissions. The payoff is immediate. freer airflow, less back pressure, and a noticeable bump in performance. Depending on the car, drivers often see gains of 10 to 15 horsepower, along with sharper throttle response. Add in the unmistakable sound, a raw, thunderous growl, and it is easy to understand why this mod is so tempting. Installation itself is straightforward, usually involving the removal of the old exhaust system and welding a custom pipe in its place. Some enthusiasts take it further by deleting resonators or mufflers, creating an even louder and more aggressive tone. The result is a car that not only feels faster, but sounds like it belongs on a racetrack. However, the trade-offs are serious. Without a catalytic converter, emissions rise sharply, making straight pipes illegal in most areas. Noise is another factor, with many regions enforcing strict decibel limits. Tickets and failed inspections are common risks. For drivers seeking similar gains without the headaches, a high-flow catalytic converter or an exhaust cutout system provides a more practical middle ground. Still, not every outlaw move is about noise. Airflow tricks change the game. Number 5. EGR removal. The exhaust gas recirculation system, or EGR, was designed with emissions in mind. By routing a portion of exhaust gases back into the engine, it lowers combustion temperatures and helps keep nitrogen oxide levels in check. So, from an environmental standpoint, it works. From a performance standpoint, however, many drivers see it as a bottleneck. That is why EGR deletes have become a popular, if controversial, modification. With the system removed, your engine no longer has to burn spent gases. The intake charge is cleaner, which means less carbon buildup and better airflow. Over time, this translates into crisper throttle response, a modest increase in horsepower, and in some cases, improved fuel efficiency. The engine feels more responsive because it is finally breathing fresh air instead of recycled fumes. Deleting the system is not always simple. Some vehicles require a block-off plate, while others need software tuning to bypass error codes and warning lights. Heat management is another concern, since some engines rely on EGR to keep temperatures in check. For drivers who want the benefits without the legal issues, a thorough cleaning of the EGR system is a safer alternative. Yet even airflow has limits. True thrill seekers chase boost instead. Number 4. Supercharging performance with forced induction. Few upgrades transform a car as dramatically as adding boost. Turbochargers and superchargers both pack more air into the engine, which allows more fuel to burn and creates a serious jump in power. A turbo harnesses exhaust gases to spin a turbine, delivering efficient horsepower gains without demanding much extra fuel. A supercharger, on the other hand, draws power directly from the engine, but its reward is instant throttle response and a surge of torque the moment you step on the gas. Factory systems often keep these components under tight control to balance performance with emissions and reliability. That is where illegal modifications come in. By bypassing those limits, tuners can push far more boost into the engine, sometimes unlocking 50 to over 100 additional horsepower. The acceleration difference is night and day, and it makes the car feel like a completely different machine. The excitement does not come without danger. Extra boost generates more heat and strain, and if the system is not tuned correctly, the engine can suffer serious damage. Tampering with emissions controls also makes these setups illegal in many places. The smarter move is to choose a legal aftermarket kit. These systems are engineered to deliver big performance gains while staying within emission standards, giving drivers a safer and more reliable way to experience the thrill of forced induction. But with great speed comes risk, which is why brakes matter most. Number 3. High-temp brakes. Speed is exciting, but control is what keeps a driver safe. Anyone who has pushed a car hard knows the enemy of braking performance is heat. Every time you press the pedal, friction builds, and with it comes temperature. Once brakes get too hot, they lose their ability to grip effectively, a condition known as brake fade. It is a sinking feeling to have plenty of power under the hood, but no confidence that you can slow the car down when it counts. High-temperature brake pads and fluid are designed to solve that problem. Performance pads use compounds that maintain grip even under extreme heat, so the pedal feels firm lap after lap or mile after mile on a mountain road. Pair them with high-temp brake fluid, which resists boiling and keeps hydraulic pressure consistent, and you dramatically reduce the chance of fade. The result is a braking system that stays strong when stock components would already be fading away. Unlike some flashy upgrades, this is a modification that adds both performance and safety. Whether you enjoy spirited weekend drives or occasional track days, high-temp pads and fluid give you the confidence to push harder, knowing your car will still stop exactly when you need it to. Now that you can stop, let's talk sharper cornering control. Number 2. Suspension upgrades. Factory suspension is built with compromise in mind. Automakers know most drivers spend their time on rough city streets and long highways, so comfort often wins out over precision. That balance works fine for commuting, but it leaves enthusiasts wanting more control when cornering or pushing the car harder. Upgrading the suspension can change the way a vehicle feels on the road. New springs, shocks, or coilovers allow the car to stay flatter in corners and respond more predictably under braking or acceleration. The temptation is to go straight for the stiffest setup, since race cars use extremely firm suspensions. The catch is that race cars also rely on huge amounts of aerodynamic downforce pressing them into the track. Your daily driver does not. Too stiff of a setup on a street car can actually reduce grip because the tires lose contact with the pavement on imperfect roads. The key is balance, choosing components that improve responsiveness without making the ride harsh or unstable. When dialed in properly, a suspension upgrade transforms a car. It feels more agile, corners with confidence, and gives the driver a stronger sense of connection to the road without sacrificing everyday usability. And when the road feels steady, it is time for pure adrenaline. Number 1. Nitrous injection. Few upgrades deliver a surge of power as dramatically as nitrous oxide, more commonly called NOx. By injecting nitrous into the intake, the engine receives a burst of extra oxygen. That additional oxygen allows more fuel to burn, creating a larger and more powerful combustion. The result is a sharp increase in horsepower and torque that can transform how a car accelerates. Even a modest shot can add 50 horsepower, while larger setups can deliver gains of more than 200. A standard kit is relatively simple. The bottle stores the nitrous, lines carry it forward, solenoids regulate the flow, and a nozzle sprays it into the intake. Drivers usually activate the system with a switch or button, making the added power available on demand. There are two primary styles of kits: dry systems, which rely on the ECU to adjust fuel delivery, and wet systems, which mix the nitrous with fuel before entering the combustion chamber. Wet setups are generally safer for stock engines, while dry systems require stronger fuel support. Nitrous should always be used in short bursts and paired with proper tuning. Without that, an engine can run lean and suffer serious damage. Street use is illegal in most areas, but at the track, nitrous remains a thrilling and effective way to experience raw, on-demand power. So there you have it, 9 car modifications that actually deliver results. Some push the limits of the law, others simply make your car safer and more fun to drive. Which of these upgrades would you consider for your own ride? Let us know, and don't forget to subscribe.